This is Prime Time on Money FM 89.3. I'm Rachel Kelly. Now, thanks to advances in technology and healthcare, many Singaporeans now hold the potential to live until they're 100. But quality and quantity go hand in hand, and being financially comfortable for a longer lifespan is key. Now, Prudential's Saving for 100 Funding Longevity in a Time of Uncertainty report explores the financial challenges Singapore residents face as life expectancy rises and how they plan to manage their wealth in anticipation for living longer. It also explores the savings and investment attitudes of 1,200 Singapore residents surveyed. And to find out more, we're joined today by Mr. Dennis Tan, and he's the CEO of Prudential Singapore. Dennis, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Rachel, for having me.
So first, I'd like to ask you, you discuss saving for longer, skills, health, as part of the Ready for 100 program. Can you tell us, are we ready to live until we're 100?
Yeah, I mean, Rachel, this topic is really something that's really close to our hearts, and our purpose is actually as a business to help people innovate to live well, right? So today, Singaporeans are already living longer than before, and living well has really become more important to all of us. So as one of Singapore's leading life insurers, we are keen, right, to examine this topic and examine how living longer, what that means to all of us, and how we can harness the opportunities that longevity brings to all of us, right? So this is the reason why we have launched Saving for 100, this research paper, and to look into the financial challenges that Singaporeans face in terms of living to 100.
So Dennis, tell us, because Singaporeans were known to be avid savers, but I'm sure many struggle to save enough, especially to live until we're 100. I know I was looking at some of the stats and I was thinking, am I ready to live until I'm 100? And in the report, it said that 44% are not confident of building a robust nest egg to fund their retirement years. How do you think we can better save to extend longevity?
Well, Rachel, I think there's no shortcuts, but at the same time, it's not too difficult, actually, right? So the key is planning early. So I think once we are able to plan early, start your financial planning earlier in life so that we kind of have a longer runway ahead of us to build the retirement funds. And I think this longer runway also allows us to better prepare to weather through economic uncertainties, and even disruptions such as the COVID-19 pandemic that we are seeing right now. So I think that is important in planning early. The other notion is actually spreading the risk, right? We have to spread the risk. We have to really consider not putting all of our eggs in one basket. And the truth is that there are people out there who are hesitant to invest their monies, right? Because they are very concerned about the risks involved. But in order to do that, we just really have to make sure that we continue to plan early, spread the risk. And just one thing from the research results, I'm actually heartened to see that the respondents are telling us they are using a whole variety of instruments to save towards 100. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I'm interested as well. I mean, we were talking about savings, but how is all of this impacting life choices? Because the findings also showed, for example, that millennials, from what I've read, they seem caught between, starting a family, caring for their parents. There are all of these additional responsibilities. And now we've got the whole COVID-19 situation taking place at the moment. So what impact is all of this happening in terms of how we live our social lives as well?
Well, it's really great to hear that millennials are confident of their financial future, but they will be challenged by the need to financially support their aging parents, right, children, grandchildren in time to come. This is largely due to the declining size of the Singaporean families. And as we have less and lesser siblings in that sense to share the cost and the support, right, for the family. So it's really commendable that in the report, we see about 9 out of 10 millennials polled say that they expect to take care of their elderly parents' needs. And about 7 in 10 are committed to doing the same for their children and grandchildren. So I think that is a very positive sign. But at the same time, only about 30% of them expect their children to be taking care of them, right, in time to come. So I think lifestyle choices, making major decisions in life, right? Whether starting a career, getting married, having children, all these are important decisions. And we got to continue to plan early and diversify the risks.
And let's talk about career paths as well, Dennis, because career paths have changed, and it's no longer the norm today to stay in one place for decades or maybe even 5 years in some cases. And as you highlighted, our millennials seem to want it all. They embrace multi-stage life interspersed with multiple career breaks for reasons such as travel or caring for their family. But is this really possible if we want to save until we're 100?
Well, I think that is a very, very good question. Personally, I think that is something that is very doable, but with one caveat, right? You are able to do that, but you have to plan early, and you need that disciplined approach towards planning early. So I would suggest the following. So I think one would be just getting started younger, earlier, and go into bite-sized deployment of some of the execution towards your plan. I think that's one way to help it. The other one is actually to kind of invest with care, right? So I think it's important to start thinking about investing some of the savings so that you can eventually be financially viable and supported, right, in terms of your whole longer life ahead of us. So that is important, but however, invest with care and understand your individual risk profile and the risk tolerance level. And finally, as we grow wealth, also it's important to have the notion of protect your wealth while you grow the wealth. Yes.
We're speaking with Mr. Dennis Tan, and he's the CEO of Prudential Singapore. And I think that's a really important point, Dennis, because, it's really how can we save enough to fulfill our financial responsibilities and personal aspirations at the same time. It's a very tricky balance, isn't it? Especially if we're looking to live to 100, if we're starting a family, we have all of these additional financial commitments as well. And that's a key concern, isn't it?
Absolutely, absolutely.
So are you ready to save until you're 100, Dennis?
Yeah, I think this is an exciting opportunity. So I definitely have already started my own plan quite some time back. But for me, it's important to continuously take stock and review the plans and adjust the plans when needed.
So how has COVID-19 impacted the saving and investment attitudes of Singaporeans? Because this is really an unprecedented situation that we're going through at the moment, the current pandemic. It's hit everybody, it's really taken the world by storm.
Well, Rachel, absolutely. I think COVID-19 has impacted society, impacted us globally. Many people have lost their jobs and businesses are impacted, right? Be it here in Singapore as well as around the world. But one of the things that we've observed is that it definitely has affected people's attitude towards savings and investing.
Okay.
And one for sure is that the crisis has impressed on many to really want to plan earlier and to plan ahead and to save for uncertainties. And the other key shift is actually bringing on the need for us to look at diversifying our sources of income. So do not just purely rely on one source of income, but look through your whole portfolio, look at active versus passive sources of income. And finally, the importance of really reviewing our plans and be patient and be prudent in making long-term financial commitments, especially during this period of time.
Now, Dennis, on the back of that, almost 80% of the respondents, including millennials, listed healthcare as their top priority when it comes to savings. I'm assuming that COVID-19 had a part to play here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that about 4 out of 5 of our respondents shared that their topmost concern is actually the ability to pay for healthcare expenses in the old age. And I guess this stems from concerns about ill health or having ill health in old age, and coupled with the gradual rise in inflation and also in medical inflation, and therefore the burden of having chronic diseases, and this all will rise over time. So this is also very true in the rapidly aging population, aging society that we all live in, not just here in Singapore, but globally as well. So with life expectancy being long, it also provides the risk that you may be spending more years in potentially ill health, right?
Yeah.
So that's something that a lot of millennials are concerned about and want to save towards that.
So how are you adapting your business and your products to cater to this, so-called new normal?
Yeah, I think for one, as an insurer, we have increased our range of products that will cover our customers up to age 100. So I think this is something that's very important as the society, as the millennials go through this change in attitude towards having a multi-stage life that we talked about earlier. So one of that will be coverage up to 100, and this goes across different kinds of products, be it protection products, be it retirement products, be it savings products. And I think all this is also important as we look at aging workforce. So as we look at aging workforce and increasing medical costs, we also want to make sure that we cover our corporate accounts, our corporate customers, as they buy group policies for their employees, that this coverage also covers the employees up to an age of 100. And finally, it's the launch of our Pulse, right, in terms of a health app that we have had previously in April that we launched. That is something that we want to help the society to really kind of make healthcare more affordable and accessible. And it's all about wellness, right? So the information and using technology to keep yourself healthy so that you will not get into these situations of having to claim against your ill health.
So Dennis, tell us that lastly, we've spoken about clients, we've spoken a little bit about yourself. How are you helping to empower your workforce on their journey to 100? And also, I guess, to weather the current COVID-19 storm?
I think for Prudential Singapore, we have actually supported this by already scrapping our retirement age in the company. So 2 years ago, Prudential became one of the first financial institutions to allow our employees to work beyond the statutory retirement age of 62. So that really gives them a lot more opportunity and time to extend their careers, so to speak. So that's one. The other one, I think importantly, given this COVID situation, is also the importance of upskilling and reskilling ourselves. So as we talk about health, we talk about wealth, talk about savings, I think it's also important to look at ourselves and our skill sets. Because if we are able to upskill and reskill, we continue to be relevant in society and relevant in the companies. And in so doing, we continue to be able to be financially self-sufficient. Yes.
And Prudential has also given out, I was just reading some of the reports as well, 3.5 million in cash benefits donations amid COVID-19 to your staff. How is that going? How is this? What's the sentiment at the moment in terms of your workforce with everything that's happening at the moment? Are you looking at offering additional support? What's happening?
Given the COVID situation, we are very grateful for the opportunity to extend help. So the 3.5 million PruCare package that we have dispersed so far goes out not just only to employees, but our financial consultants, as well as our policy holders. Right. So that is something that we count it a blessing that we are able to contribute back to society during these very challenging times. And we will continuously innovate and continuously look at opportunities to better support our customers, our financial consultants, as well as employees.
Great. Well, Dennis, it's been absolutely wonderful talking with you this morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me, Rachel.
We've been speaking with Mr. Dennis Tan, and he's the CEO of Prudential Singapore, here on Primetime on Money FM 89.3. Money FM 89.3.